So, do you have special permit to stay long in Indonesia, Aline? This is the question from Mbak Siti Asia from Germany. Was that difficult to get the business permit from Germany?
So usually I visit Indonesia with a social visa that allows me to stay 6 months. But now as pandemic happens, it's a bit harder because you're not able to easily visit again. So you need a business visa. I mean, it's the same, almost the same thing. And you can apply for it and come to Indonesia. That's also currently because of pandemic, so many people left. And I keep recommending my friends to still go to Indonesia and to still go and make the if they want to go see Indonesia, to still go because it's possible. It's for long term currently. It's not for tourist visa. But because the pandemic hit, for example, Bali so hard that most of the people lost their jobs, and they really need the people to come back. And so you can stay longer in Indonesia at the moment, and that's amazing. So even though it's a bit harder now, it's still possible. Did that answer the question?
Dia menggunakan visa 6 bulan social visa, tapi nanti kalau dia kembali dia harus memakai business visa karena sekarang keputusannya sudah berbeda. Dan saya persilakan untuk Mbak Tami.
Hai Aline. My name is Tamita, and so proud of you. You can make amazing journey. So my question is, do you feel afraid before you go to another country, especially in Indonesia? And how do you feel with your relationship, especially with your boyfriend from Batak, right? Bagana? with different. Maybe you have a boyfriend before from your country. What different feel?
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Sure. Okay, so of course, the first time I traveled was actually not to Indonesia. It was first time going to New Zealand. And my first time traveling, I was so afraid. I was really, really afraid because I could not speak English like I can now. I probably could speak English, but I was afraid to speak because I thought people judge me. I'm making mistakes speaking. They cannot understand me. So I was lucky because in New Zealand, I traveled also with 3 more friends, and they all lived in different places. So I was still alone in New Zealand. I lived with my own host family back then. But that was my first time traveling. And I remember I was 19 years old and I was afraid. But then as soon as I got there to New Zealand, I was like, oh, it's not so hard. People are very nice. They want to help me. And if I couldn't speak very well English, we somehow still could speak because you always have Google Translator in here. You can always somehow communicate with your hands. So it was not an issue. And as soon as I overcame my comfort zone, I was like, oh my goodness, there's a whole other world that I haven't discovered before. Now I see I can do it. So I really got hooked by traveling because I understood I can go over my comfort zone, and I'm not dying because of it, right? Just because I go to New Zealand, my life doesn't end. Or just because I go to Indonesia, I'm still alive. and so you can see that you as a person are able to do amazing things, even though you've never tried something before. And it's not easy sometimes. I definitely cried a lot, and I definitely missed my family. But you can see how once you do the first step and once you go to your first country, no matter what the first country is going to be for you, maybe you will see that you can do it, that the people are going to be nice, and there's always a lesson. Even if you overcome some struggle, or if it's difficult in a different country, you will see that eventually things are turning always out for you. And there's probably, I always feel there's a certain reason why you do this. You do this for yourself. You don't do this for someone else. And so that gave me the strength to keep traveling and to go to Indonesia. I was then, I think, 19 or 20 maybe. And I was really missing traveling. I actually had a break about, I don't know, maybe half a year between New Zealand, Australia before I left to Indonesia. And I missed it so much. Like, people told me in Germany, no, it's going to be okay. You're going to be studying university in Germany, do the traditional life here. And I kept feeling my heart saying, no, I need to go back again. I need to go, I want to see Asia now. That is how I first came to Jakarta, because Jakarta, I thought, is the safe place in Indonesia where I can easily travel to different places maybe, or meet people. It turned out, even though it was maybe hard for me to be in Jakarta, I met someone and I suddenly recommended me Banda Nera. And Banda Nera was also a place I didn't know about, and it was, for example, it's a Muslim place. I didn't know that first, so I arrived there with like a top and shorts, and everyone, when I arrived there, everyone was wearing like long sleeves, right? So I was like, oh, maybe I need to change my clothing now. But this is like, nobody is like offended, or nobody was, oh, you have to change your clothing now. It was more me like seeing, okay, how can I adjust to the community? And then you dress properly, and so those kind of things you learn while traveling, and it's more like an experience, you know. I hope that answers your question for the traveling part. Mm-hmm. And then yes, there are different culture differences with Indonesian men. So before I was together with men from Germany, but for almost 5 years. And I would say the German men, maybe Gana can also speak about it a little bit. It's culturally different. So for example, I think in Germany, it's very normal to show your love in public. Like, you kiss, you hug, you are, it's more accepted at the parents that you're sleeping in one bed together. Those kind of things are very normal in Germany. And in Indonesia, it's more private. It's more like, yeah, you know, I had to learn this the hard way as well.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it's more private, and it's okay. But it's also for me a change. Like, how can I in a new environment adjust to this? And it's important that you have an open communication with your partner, I think, like what is accepted, what crosses the line. So I think communication is very important and different. And Batak men are very special. I mean, I don't know so many. I only met Nalom as my partner as a Batak, but I can say sometimes very tempered and but very loving, very, very soft, very understanding, very loyal. And I appreciate that very much. And I've never had a deeper connection with someone I could really speak to and who could understand me and supports me. And I feel the same way about him. Like, he is very, very smart. He's very funny. And so it's very easy for me to fall in love with him.
Jadi Mbak Tami, ini kan Aline sudah travel sejak umur 19 dan di Jerman ini sudah hal yang biasa ya, kalau anak umur 18 sudah SMA, udah lulus, dia akan keliling dunia kemana aja dan orang tua akan mengizinkan. Jadi ketika travel, jadi long traveler ini, dia merasa bahwa dia tidak takut ya, meskipun dia waktu itu masih muda ya, masih belum kaya, belum punya banyak uang seperti sekarang, punya bisnis sendiri ya. Kemudian dia ini merasa harus beradaptasi dengan masyarakat. Misalnya kalau di Jerman itu kan udah biasa ya kalau kita pakai long set gitu, pakai apa namanya you can see gitu ya, atau pakai celana pendek. Nah, dia ketika berada di Indonesia seperti di Banda Neira, di Bali, dia merasa oh orang kok pakai panjang semua ya, aku juga harus dong gitu ya. Jadi dia merasa tanpa diperintah pun dia merasa harus melakukan hal tersebut sebagai respect atau hormat dia pada masyarakat sekitar. Tentang cowok yang Batak ini, Mbak Tami tahu sendiri kan, Batak itu biasanya agak temperamen, tapi dia bilang sangat lovely, sangat mencintai, dan sangat loyal, dan sangat lucu. Jadi yang membuatnya semakin betah untuk mengadakan hubungan. Dan dia juga belajar ya, kalau di Jerman itu, kalau suami saya suka bilang nih, kalau di Indonesia nggak enak, nggak bebas. Soalnya suami istri sendiri nggak boleh pegang. Katanya ini nanti dibilangin sama orang saru gitu ya, nggak sopan gitu. Nah di Jerman ini beda. Jadi kalau yang pacaran anak-anak muda gitu sampai orang-orang tua lansia pun mereka masih gandengan tangan, mereka masih rangkul-rangkulan gitu. Jadi ekspresinya tuh kelihatan banget. Oh, nih orang nih saling mencintai begitu. Kalau di kita kan enggak ya. Ada norma-norma, nilai-nilai yang harus kita ketahui. Nah, itu yang dia pelajari. Nah, ini dia juga harus belajar bagaimana dia mengungkapkan atau menunjukkan rasa cintanya pada pasangannya dia, atau bagaimana dia menjaga agar tidak terlalu over ketika berada di Indonesia dan mengikuti budaya yang ada di Jerman misalnya seperti itu. Pada dasarnya dia enjoy aja sih. Meskipun sebelum dengan pacar orang Batak ini dia punya pacar orang Jerman. Jadi beda aja gitu. Masing-masing punya kelebihan dan kekurangan sendiri. Baik, terima kasih Mbak Tami sudah
semoga
bila-bilain rajin.
Sampaikan ke Aline.
Ya, nanti kalau nikah kita kondangan.
Indonesia.
Nanti Mbak Tami yang jaga kado. Oke.
Siap.
Oke, terima kasih. Kita langsung ke Mas Agung. Pertanyaannya adalah, what is your opinion about Lombok Island? Have you ever been there? Lombok is near Bali, so Java, Bali, Lombok.
Yeah, I always wanted to go to Lombok, and it's still on my list. We went to the Gili Islands, which is almost opposite of Lombok, but unfortunately we had only 1 week, so we decided to just be in Gili for that time because we didn't want to rush. But Lombok is a place I want to go because my boyfriend Nalom, he went to Mantarinjani. He actually climbed all the up the mountain. And the pictures he shared with me are amazing. He also said the food there is amazing. The people are very lovely, and his highlight was climbing up the volcano. So it's quite high, I think. With how many? I think 4,000 meters, or yeah. But it's very nice, and it's definitely the spot I want to go to. So maybe this person who asked is from Lombok.
I think from Java, but maybe
okay.
he has been there. And one of our administrator lives in there, Mbak Nani. Okay.
Oh, yeah, nice. Yeah, definitely. I want to go. Many friends of mine, they have been in Lombok, and they say it's still, there's not so many tourists, of course, and you can enjoy the nature a lot there. So Lingam is asking.
Okay, so from Mira. If you will go back to Indonesia, which part of Sumatra and Lombok do you like to visit? And what kind of fruits do you like to eat or have you eaten before? I think durian. German people, they don't like durian. You know, the thing, you know.
Yeah, I know that Batak and also in general Sumatra are very proud of the durian. Medan durian is very popular. Adjust to the taste of durian. Durian was not my favorite food in the beginning. I actually tried again when my older sister visited me. We went to, I don't know, like a local place somewhere, and they offered us durian, and I say, oh, Mele, my sister, you have to try durian. It's a very tasty fruit. And she tried, and she actually liked it, and I was very surprised because I wanted to just make a joke. I thought she's not gonna like it, but she did, and so I was curious why she likes it so much. I need to try as well. So I tried it again, and actually it was not so bad. And I also enjoy it a lot with the ice. ice cream. Durian is really good. Couldn't eat one durian myself. It would be too much. And
Okay.
For traveling, I think I definitely want to go back to Sumatra, because Sumatra is so big. We only could do part of the north, and we couldn't even go all the way up to Aceh, which I would love to see. Or in the south, I know they have some tribes in the south that I would love to explore, and a lot more jungle. So it's such a big island. I think you can spend months and months there. That's been always such a great place as well, because his family is very, very welcoming and so sweet to me. And especially his mama, Inang, is always making really nice food for us. And we would all sleep together in one room, which is also not very common for me. In Germany, we have like our separate rooms, and that's where we sleep. The same thing in Indonesia, you have a big house, but everyone sleeps in the same room. and that is so nice in a way. It's a different, it's just different, and everyone is together. So I really like that. And I would love to experience it again. Yeah, so Lombok, I would love to show Nalom Maluku, and would love to go again to Banda Nera and show him, and every one of you should go and check it out also. It's just really, really amazing. Yes, if you have the chance to, go.
Teman-teman semua, khususnya Mbak Mira tadi ya, yang menanyakan perjalanan ke Sumatera dan Lombok, tentu saja dia akan mengunjungi lagi karena pulau-pulau Indonesia kan luas ya. Jadi Sumatera sendiri dia baru Sumatera Utara, masih ada Sumatera Selatan, Sumatera Timur dan lain sebagainya. Kemudian termasuk Lombok, dan dia ingin kembali ke Banda Nera karena dia pernah di sana dan ia ingin menunjukkan kepada pacarnya bagaimana indahnya Banda Nera, tempat pertama kali yang ia injakan ketika berada di Indonesia. Oh iya, tadi tentang buah-buahan. Si Aline tadi bilang tentang buah durian, yang kalau kita bilang di Jerman itu buah bau. Karena orang di sini bilang baunya tuh seperti bau bayi, tinjanya bayi gitu ya. Jadi bau sekali. Tapi ternyata dia berhasil dibujuk oleh saudaranya untuk memakan buah ini. Pertama kali dia bilang, wah pasti nggak enak. Ternyata enak juga, akhirnya ketagihan ya. Itu seperti yang terjadi pada suami saya atau orang-orang Jerman yang lainnya. Tapi pada awalnya mereka akan bilang buah durian itu buah busuk. Jadi hati-hati kalau ingin menawarkan buah durian pada teman-teman kalian yang berasal dari Jerman. Nita, 3R. When you visit, when you visit in an island or somewhere in Indonesia, what kind of souvenirs do you like to buy for your friends or for your family? Oh, that is durian. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. That is durian. Delicious. I love it. Enak ya? Enak sekali. Thank you, Mbak Mira.
Okay, so this is with me. I only travel with a backpack, a small bag. Yep. And very often I don't bring any ole-ole, because I always say you have to go and see yourself. I know that in Indonesia, many people love ole-ole. They love it. And I know, and they're probably going to be shocked with my answer. What? You don't bring ole-ole? But oftentimes, not so much. Maybe coffee. But I always say, if you want to go and see the country and want to understand the ulos, or want to understand, I'm going to show you as well in a second, this thing behind me. If you want to understand it, you have to go and see and feel and eat the food yourself. I think it's more important than an ole-ole, because you put it in your room and then what? And then it stays there.
And sell it. Flowmark.
You remember your friend or your family, but I think it's nicer to actually, instead of collecting things, it's much nicer, in my opinion, to experience things. And so I always say, maybe write a postcard and say, have to go there. It's a great place. But nevertheless, I also bring a little bit of ole-ole when I go home. For example, this thing here, I know this is from Bali. Hang on. I don't know if it's quite big, if you can see it or not. But it's a kite,
Oh, nice.
It's actually a kite, like a ship. And in Bali, a big culture is the kites, right? They're very famous for their kites. And so I bought this kite because I know my dad loves kites. He also makes his own kites. And so I brought this with me. But other than that, not so much. And what I do is I write a journal. If I go travel, I write down in bullet points a little bit what my experience was. And I'm really glad I did that, because now I have, unfortunately, actually Nalom, he can't show that now, but I usually have a little journal, and currently it's in Indonesia, my journal from Indonesia. And I would collect like old tickets and like what I was eating, like I would collect all of those. If I would go to a museum, I would keep that ticket in my journal. And now I have so many memories from that. So it's more of like a ole-ole for myself. And yeah.
Dia ini kalau jalan-jalan biasanya nggak bawa oleh-oleh. Jadi kalau menurut dia sebagai traveler, daripada koleksi barang, mendingan orang yang minta oleh-oleh tadi disuruh datang sendiri ke tempatnya, seperti ke Banda Neira, ke Bali, ke Sumatera, dan lain sebagainya. Jadi prinsipnya don't collect things, collect moments. Dan biasanya dia hanya bawa kopi, misalnya kan ini berbeda dengan kopi kopi Jerman. Misalnya kopinya Jerman kan dari Afrika, dari mana begitu ya, impor, dan dari Indonesia mungkin belum begitu banyak. Jadi ini spesial dia bawa. Dan orang Jerman punya tradisi minum kopi sore-sore, jadi pas banget. Kemudian dia bawa sebuah layang-layang berbentuk kapal tadi ya, karena ini di Jerman juga merupakan tradisi untuk bermain layang-layang pada musim herbst ya, musim gugur gitu ya, di mana anginnya kenceng, jadi semua orang pada main layang-layang begitu. Saya juga bingung nih, ini bawanya dari Indonesia bagaimana? So how did you pack your kite, because it's quite big. It wasn't broken. Yeah.
That kite is actually you can fold it. You can make a little bit round, and then it fits into my bag. And another thing I not collected, but it was given to me in Banda Neira. In Banda Neira, all the men. That was something I was really fun. It was really weird in the beginning. It was so weird because they have big rings. I don't know if you can see it now. But
Simat.
What do you call it?
No.
And, it's plastic. It's not real, but it's he gave it to me, and I was like so excited because all the men in Indonesia, in Banda Neira, I mean, they were wearing it, and now I had to, and of course I had to keep it. So I would, that is more special to me because it reminds me of an experience than buying a gift or something.
Okay. We also believe in my island in Java, if you wear this kind of ring, you have a magic in it. It's crazy, but people believe in that. And sometimes the price is very, very expensive. It's a power, you know, like a power for the man.
Okay, good to know that.
Jadi teman-teman, sekarang terbuka rahasia ya, bahwa dia mendapatkan cincin dari seorang pria di Banda Neira. Nah, kalau orang Jawa bilang itu biasanya orang yang pakai cincin beginian, meskipun dari plastik, terus ada batunya begitu, itu adalah sebuah kekuatan. Seperti jimat ya, kalau orang Jawa itu jimat. Gitu. Okay, now we go to Pak Sutiono. Aline, how many books did you write? Because you said you wrote journals, you know, journals with your tickets, with your everything, the notice and everything.
I would like to write a book. That is on my big list. And I did write a lot of journals. I think I have 1, 2, wait, hang on, 3, 4, 5. I think I probably, in Indonesia, including the books I have in Indonesia, I probably wrote about 10 notebooks. Not all of them are about travel. Many of them, I mean, I have probably around 4 travel books that I filled just with my own notes. But and then I have a lot of other books, like I do a lot of mindset work. I want to like, I write, like, for example, I have a success journal where I write every day 5 or 10 things I think I did well. Because often in life, we also remember only negative things, and I want to remember the positive things. So I write down everything that comes to my mind that went well. And then I would sometimes read it again. But I think in total, I probably have four or five travel books. Yeah. Hang on, maybe I can show you one. Hang on.
Si Aline ini sudah punya banyak catatan buku tapi belum dibukukan, dan ini merupakan rencananya di masa mendatang bahwa akan dibuat buku-buku perjalanan yang sudah ia tulis dalam catatan buku hariannya dan akan menjadi sebuah buku. Kita tunggu saja Pak Sutiono ya. Nice, wait.
So that is only Australia and New Zealand. And there's a lot of notes in here, postcards. I kept everything, and it's so nice to go back and see everything again.
Yeah, you have times until April.
Again. Yeah.
You have a lot of things to do.
Yes, yeah, and the Asian book is in Indonesia though.
Okay, good. We will wait for wonderful Indonesia about your travel around the islands. Okay, now the next is Veronika Gultom.
You got ulos from your, or maybe you learn about it and other Indonesian traditional clothes, and how do you think about it?
I only understood half of the sentence, I think, but I think I understood what you mean, like where I get the ulos from and what I think about it. Was that your question? That ulos is actually not my ulos. It's from Inang, from my boyfriend's mama, and she gave it to my parents. So it was a Christmas gift. I think 2 years ago or 3 years ago. Yeah. And obviously I loved, like, the ulos is really a tradition that is, I think, very Batak and very Sumatra, right? And I think it's really nice because every tribe has their different colors, has their different techniques to make an ulos. And so you can always see, oh, this person is maybe from that tribe. And for me, it's very difficult to understand because there's so many. So I always need to ask Nalom, how do you, like, you know, like where is that from? Or I need a lot of explanations, and I often forget again. I need to ask again because there's just so many. But I love the tradition, and I love how it looks so elegant on a person. So, do you have a ulos? I imagine.
Okay. Mbak Veronika punya ulos ya di rumah?
Ada, banyak.
Ada ya. Oke, ya terima kasih Mbak Veronika. So I think most of Sumatranis they have it. Even I have it too.
Yes.
Okay, so jadi teman-teman, dia merasa bahwa ketika orang memakai ulos itu sebuah kesan yang elegan. Jadi yang make, yang lihat, dia seneng, cantik gitu ya. Pak Teguh Haryawan. Okay, is there any heritage in Bali that you like? I think a lot. Have you ever visited?
I went to quite a few temples in Bali, and once I was actually invited, that was in the very beginning of my travel in Bali. I was invited into a ceremony at a temple, and that was very, very beautiful to not just visit the place, but actually be part of the ceremony. And I was wearing a normal, like a kebaja, what do you call it? Like the traditional clothes, and the Ibu was like making my hair and my makeup. So it was it was very interesting to not just go visit the place, but also be part of the tradition, and eat the food with them after the ceremony, and also celebrate their holidays. That is always very nice, and to just also be part of it. That's I think. Other than that, I think that I mostly actually decided not to go to too many places like museums, etc., because it was just always very touristy in Indonesia, in Bali. So I think I went and visited more museums in Sumatra, for example, and than in Bali. I think it's probably part of because of the tourists, and I wanted to be accepted, I think, in Bali, especially as a person who calls this their home, who's not just seen as a tourist. I really wanted to be accepted in Bali also as someone who calls it their home. And so I think that is one of the reasons. But in Sumatra, for example, we went also to a lot of one museum, especially that I really liked. There was a guy from Holland, and he showed us how the people in the old days lived there. And it's so interesting to see the old traditions in Sumatra, for example, where they still believe about magic, and Bali is a big place for believing into magic too. So understanding that culture part. But in terms of visiting places in Bali, honestly, we went mostly to nature, waterfalls, and those type of places.
I think at last but not least, Aline, I would like you to tell us or to advise us, because so many Indonesian people, we like to, for example, travel out of country, like to Japan, to Korea, to Europe, to America, to Japan, wherever. But you yourself, you fly from Germany far and away to stay in Bali, to travel around Indonesia. Maybe you can support all the young people here. Most of them are students from UPGRIS. That one day they will have a plan in 2021 or 2022 that they will collect money and travel around Indonesia with a backpack like you did, and will discover all the islands of Indonesia, 17,000.
Absolutely. I can only encourage every one of you. I was once not a student, I've never been a student, but I was 19 when I traveled to my first country, and I was afraid. I was nervous in my stomach, but at the same time, there was excitement, and I'm sure some of you want to see your country fully. You have so many islands, so many cultures to explore, like no other country in the world, maybe. And so it would be a shame to not see what your country has to offer. And I know there are some traditions that maybe keep you back home for a long time. Maybe you have different priorities in your life that you need to take care of first. But honestly, it's sometimes just the do it part that keeps many people away from traveling. I feel like the only way to overcome it is to close your eyes, book a flight ticket, and to go, and not to think too much. Because often we are held back by our fears, and then we think about it maybe 1 day, 2 days, and on the third day we decide it's too scary. And so I encourage you to, when you have the urge inside of you, yes, you want to go, then make it a priority. There you will definitely find ways. I had not much money. I always had to work for myself. I was supported by my family emotionally, like, yes, you can do it, but not by my budget. I had to work first, and then I saved, and I made it a priority. I saved every month as much as I could to make my dream possible. And then 6 months after hard working, I was having enough money to then book a ticket. And so I think it's a lot in here. And and when you keep your mindset up and your dream, you want to make it a possibility, I think it's totally doable, especially in Indonesia. You speak the language. For you, it's even easier with the language barrier. Maybe you don't have to speak another language necessarily to go different islands. So yeah. It's just in your mind, and I encourage you to not be afraid. Be afraid, that's okay, but still do it.
Jadi teman-teman semua, inti dari perbincangan kita kali ini tentang Wonderful Indonesia, perjalanan Aline di Bali dan Sumatera akan memotivasi kita untuk lebih banyak mengeksplorasi pulau-pulau di tanah air dengan cara tentu saja saving sendiri, mengumpulkan uang sendiri karena dia sendiri harus bekerja selama 6 bulan, kemudian menggunakannya dalam perjalanan. Nah, bagi teman-teman yang masih muda, adik-adik semua yang masih mahasiswa, waktunya masih panjang dan menurut dia adalah satu hal yang memalukan kalau orang Indonesia tidak pernah keliling Indonesia. Sedangkan banyak bule seperti Aline ini justru jauh-jauh datang dan bekerja keras hanya untuk ke Indonesia dan menemukan tempat-tempat cantik seperti hanya Banda Neira, Bali, dan Sumatera. Untuk itu dia mengatakan just do it. Jadi lakukan segera tanpa pikir, takut boleh tapi tetap dilakukan. Dan dia merasa bahwa restu dari orang tua adalah sangat penting karena untuk uang sendiri dia harus melakukannya atau mencukupinya sendiri. Baik, itu saja perbincangan kita kali ini. Sebelum kita berpisah, nanti kita akan foto bersama. Terima kasih sekali lagi untuk International Office dari UPGRIS, Bapak Dr. Nur Hidayat, Dek Sabrina, dan kru, serta mahasiswa UPGRIS Bahasa Inggris. Kemudian khususnya untuk Aline Dahmen, thank you very much for today. Juga untuk Mas Oni dari SGPP, untuk linknya. Untuk para admin Koteka yang hadir di sini dan juga untuk Komunitas Traveler Kompasiana yang ada di sini. Kita akan tunggu siapa yang berhak untuk mendapatkan 5 buku dan 1 paket dari Dejavato. Untuk yang sudah gabung di WhatsApp grup kita jangan bubar dulu karena kita akan umumkan kemudian. Sekali lagi terima kasih untuk waktunya, tenaganya, inspirasinya dan untuk kuotanya karena nyedot kuota ya. And thank you very much for everyone. Please open all of your video. We make photos together for our documentation, for our social media.
And also I want to say, please, if you are coming to Bali, please come and visit, say hello to you can find me on Instagram. I just put my handle in there. Or if you want to go camping, let's go camping. Let's do some fun stuff together. So I really would love to.
Be fun. So thank you very much, everyone. I would like to see you next year. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everyone who will celebrate it. And thank you again for today. I hope you will get motivation to travel around Indonesia. Semoga dengan perbincangan seri kita Wonderful Indonesia ini, kita semua akan terinspirasi seperti Aline yang jauh-jauh datang dari Jerman hanya untuk ke Indonesia dengan cara karena dia tidak dikasih uang dari orang tua, dia harus kerja sendiri 6 bulan, kerja part-time, nyuci lah, apa di toko lah, atau kasir lah. Setelah 6 bulan uangnya dikumpulkan baru ke Indonesia dihabiskan. Ini bisa kalian lakukan karena cara ini biasa dilakukan oleh pemuda dan pemudi yang ada di Jerman seusia kalian mulai dari umur 18 atau 19 tahun. Jadi tidak ada yang tidak mungkin dalam dunia ini dan ketika mengelilingi dunia berarti kita sudah membaca sebuah buku tidak hanya 1 halaman. Terima kasih sekali lagi teman-teman semuanya. Saya Gana Stegmann dari Komunitas Traveler Kompasiana mengucapkan selamat berakhir pekan. Jangan kapok untuk gabung Zoom dengan Koteka Komunitas Traveler Kompasiana. Mumpung sekarang lagi pandemi, work from home, jadi kita bisa banyak berbincang dari rumah. Tetap sehat dan bahagia semuanya. Sekali lagi tetap semangat beraktivitas sesuai bakat dan interest kalian masing-masing.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.